Okay, in this video I'm going to take you through the process of actually turning on an Apple iPad 3 or the new iPad for the very first time. So right here I have a 16 gigabyte Wi-Fi only version of the Apple iPad 3. In my previous video I unboxed it. In my next video I'm going to give you a rundown of the specs. And if you want to see any other video on this device, click on the link at the end of this video. But what I'm going to do now is power this up for the very first time. So I'm going to click on the power button up here. And there we go. As is customary, you see the Apple logo there as it's starting up. And here we go. Now this device is running iOS 5.1, and what was introduced with iOS 5 is that you no longer need a computer when you actually fire up an iPad for the very first time. So if your computing needs are not that intense, you could actually have an Apple iPad 3 as your only computing device because you don't have to set it up with a computer. So let's take you through this process here. I'm just going to swipe to unlock here. And it has welcome in all these different languages here. And it asks me what language I'm speaking, and the top one is English, and obviously I'm speaking English. So it's selected here, and I'm going to hit the arrow button up top here. And it's asking where I live. I live in the United States. I'm going to hit next because that's already selected there. And it says location services allows maps and other apps to gather and use data indicating your approximate location. I'm good with that. I'm fine with enabling the location services, so I'll click that and hit next. So now it's activating my iPad, and what had happened in the step that I edited out is that it searched for any wireless network, and it brought up my wireless network in my house. I signed in, and then it set everything up, and right now it says set up iPad, choose to set up as a new iPad or restore from a backup. And then you have your options down here. It says set up as a new iPad, restore from iCloud backup, or restore from iTunes backup. I'm just going to set it up as a new iPad, so I'm going to leave that selected there, and I'm going to hit next up top here. And now it says your Apple ID is used to set up iCloud, App Store, iTunes Store, and more on your iPad. You can opt to sign in with your Apple ID or create a free Apple ID down here. I already have an Apple ID, so let me sign in with that and I'll catch up with you on the other side of that. Up next here we have the terms and conditions, and I'm going to of course agree to those, and it's just verifying here that I'm agreeing, so I'm going to agree here, and it's signing in. It says it may take a few minutes to set up your Apple ID. Okay, it says set up iCloud. iCloud stores your photos, apps, contacts, calendars, and more, and wirelessly pushes them to your devices. You have the option to use iCloud here or don't use iCloud down here. Now this is my only Apple device other than my 5th generation iPod Classic, but that doesn't run iOS. So I'm not going to use iCloud, even though I could sync it with my iTunes account on my Windows PC, but I'm not really interested in getting my music matched in the cloud. So basically any media I have on this device doesn't need to be synced with anything else. So I'm going to click the option down here that says don't use iCloud, and then I'm going to hit next up top here. Now this is something that's new with iOS 5 on the Apple iPad 3 or the new iPad. I wish they'd call it the Apple iPad 3, but they call it the new iPad. I'm probably going to refer to it as the Apple iPad 3 in these series of videos. Now dictation is new, and it takes from Siri. It's not called Siri on this device because it doesn't do everything that Siri does, but it is basically voice to text. So it's one of the examples of Apple borrowing from Android. So it says here, when you tap the microphone button on the keyboard, what you say will be converted to text. Dictation works with any app with a keyboard. So just like Android. Use dictation, don't use dictation. I like dictation, so I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to hit Next up here. Now it says Diagnostics. Diagnostics and usage. You can send them automatically or don't send them. I generally opt to send back diagnostics because it helps the ecosystem and it helps the companies better their products. And I'm pretty careful with my privacy, so I'm not going to put anything on this device that I'd be afraid of sharing if a leak did happen. So I'm going to hit automatically send here and then hit next up top here. And the next page here is registration. It says register with Apple. Register this device to your Apple ID to stay up to date on product information and get faster access to support. It's by default on. I'm going to keep that on. I'm going to hit next. And here we go. It says thank you. Your iPad is now set up. You're ready to start using the most advanced iOS ever. And I can hit down here to start using the iPad. So right now what you're looking at is the biggest upgrade to the iPad, and that's the screen. Just like the Apple iPhone 4 and the Apple iPhone 4S, this device has a Retina display. To put that into perspective, it has 4 times the resolution of the Apple iPad 2 and the original Apple iPad. You can't make out the individual pixels on the screen. Now, the most recent Apple iPad 2 that I purchased had a dead pixel in it, so I returned it. At this point, I'm not even sure if I could tell if there was a dead pixel on this device, but I'll let you know if I come across one. So that pretty much does it for this video. In my next video, I'm going to run down the specs on this device. So as always, if you like what you see, please subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. And give me a thumbs up or favorite this video because it helps out my channel. So that's it for now. I'll see you guys next time.